Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the webinar. We're just taking a few minutes to, I see the numbers are growing as we wait for it to take a minute or two to let everybody join us. And then I'll start off with the introductions. I see our numbers are still growing. We're just going to give it another minute before we get started. Okay, so we're 2 minutes in. Thank you to everybody that has joined. Welcome to our webinar this afternoon. And I'd just like to introduce myself. I'm Leanne King, head up the sales deployment division of LexisNexis. And my colleague Magda is our security engineer in our team as well. So I'd just like to welcome her. So I'll be hosting the webinar. And between Magda and I will be fielding the questions. And then I would like to introduce our panelist speaker, Lucas Malefe. Today we're going to be addressing a critical issue affecting businesses in South Africa, phishing scams. In recent times, there's been a noticeable increase in these scams, posing a real threat to our businesses and personal information. That's why we're here today, to equip you with the knowledge and tools to tackle this growing problem. To guide us through this, we're fortunate to have Mr. Lucas Malefe with us. Lucas is a seasoned expert in cybersecurity, currently working as a technical support specialist at ESET Southern Africa and leading tech training at ESET. With a focus on ESET home security, ESET business solutions, and cloud solutions, Lucas will break down the complexities of phishing scams. This isn't just about understanding the issue, it's about getting practical insights to better protect our businesses. So please join me in welcoming Lucas Malefe today. So Lucas, thank you for joining us. I'm going to hand it over to you now, and then at the end, I will take you through just a brief overview of a really great tool that we've got in our suite of products to highlight some security aspects for you. So over to you. Thank you, Lucas.
Thank you so much, Leanne, for having me. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for making time to actually join us for this amazing webinar. And this is very something, I would say, an opportunity for all of you to actually get this knowledge. And very important is the question being posed here today is that, is South Africa under attack? And before I answer that question, you will then, by the end of this webinar, you will actually pick up how important cybersecurity or phishing actually is for everybody, whether you are a small-time business owner, big-time business owner, whether you're just a home user just browsing your internet. So it's very important to have this. Now, before we go forward, just an introduction to understand what is phishing or what phishing refers to. So this is a method of a cyber attack where a deceptive technique, right, is used to deceive people into sharing information. This is your information if we look at your password, credit card numbers, or personal information. right? Now, what they do is they send you an email just to try and get information from you. And this can be done by an individual or groups, right? Now, in every communication that is done, there's a hidden message or a hidden intent of this, right? Now, you get forms of this phishing, right? One of them is email phishing, spear phishing, and smishing, right? And then we have our last one, which is phishing, right? Now, this is not the phishing that you know, but it's phishing in terms of they use voice-based phishing, right? Where an attacker can call you and say, I'm calling you from Standard Bank, or I'm calling you from a government agency, and starts asking you information. All right. We've seen this happen a lot these days, especially when we have WhatsApp, where someone will call you and says, look on your phone, there's a link I'm about to send you. And not knowing, by accepting that link, you're actually giving the attacker the full information or full access to your WhatsApp or your phone, right? Then we have what we call spear phishing. Now, this is very a targeted phishing, where the attackers, what they basically do, they would send a message for individuals, organization, right? Where their goal is to make the person who's receiving the email trusting. For example, this happens a lot where a CEO will send an email saying that, hi, do this for me, or get this information, or send me this data. And this is where basically because they know you, when your CEO sends you an email, you'll immediately answer. And that's how basically you trust them, and they've just received all the information, right? Now, we also have what we call later, like I mentioned earlier, that the smishing involving your SMSs, where they'll send you an SMS saying, hi, you've won this and won that. Click on the link, and that's how basically they would get this, right? Now, just to share relevant stats on the phishing attacks and how it has impacted our South Africa, or even worldwide, right? Now, you won't believe that 90% of cyber attacks start with phishing emails, right? I guess everyone should have an email address, right? When I say email address, I mean your Google email address. Now, you'll find that on your Google email address, they'll send you all this information, or you get a spam email, which technically speaking, it's actually a phishing attempt, someone trying to get information from you, right? Now, the impacts of this, the minute you click on the link or you give your information, can vary based on the company or the business or the actual individual. Now, what people don't understand is that we have what we call identity theft. Yet in South Africa, this is not something we really focus on or look at, but this is when a person basically target your personal information and can be used for fraudulent activities, like creating bank cards or buying online using your information, your name, and so forth, right? Now, this can also lead to having data breaches, where these guys basically exploit vulnerabilities that you access information, like sensitive information. Now, just in 2020 alone, right, one of our credit bureaus, right, where they experience a data breach, right? Now, you must understand that phishing, most of the time, they always seek to get something from you, okay? Now, with that being said, this is what they did with one of our credit bureaus here in South Africa, where over 24 million South Africans, their information was exposed to the attackers. 24 million. Immediately when this information is basically taken, it can be used for identity theft, or basically you find that someone can sell your information to another credit bureau, or these people who buy information to try and contact you and things like that. You find that your information is taken, right? And over 700,000 business entities were affected by this. This was just in 2020 alone, right? Now, what they also look at is the compromising credentials. Now, this involves where a user, it reveals their login details, where your bank details or anything like that, which can result to financial loss and things like that. So This is basically what the impacts can do for a person. Now, according to the South African Bank Risk Information Center, alone, like just in South Africa, 63% increased in digital banking related phishing attempts in 2020. And this has been like something we have been seeing growing a lot in South Africa alone. Now, victims of South Africa already reported losses of 262 million rand. This was just in the first half of 2021, when I think it was a time of COVID, where everyone was busy on online banking, not knowing that, you know, there's a lot of victims falling into this, all right, where they've lost about 18 million US dollars. Okay. Now, these are the impacts that we see on a daily basis happening to people. And some people, because of they're not educated, they basically fall victim of this, all right? Now, to explore the common tactics that these guys use, these cyber criminals use, one of them would be, you would see that maybe you've logged into your bank details, right? Like your FNB or whatever the case may be, or any session that you're buying from, right? You get your session expired, click to sign in again. Now, what these guys can do, this is very sophisticated things, right? What they can do is that they can use that line just for you to click on it, and not knowing that it's redirecting you to another website that is similar to the one that is the real one. Where since I work for ESET, we've had so many issues where a client will say, I clicked on a link that says that I'm not protected, yet they are actually protected. But what has been happening is that once upon a time, the person logged into a malicious website. And due to that, a notification is being sent every 10, 20 minutes for you to saying you are not protected, yet your computer is actually protected. By clicking that, it sends you to a different link overall, right? And one of these things that these guys use is like, for example, I need you to make an urgent payment, like an urgent payment, right? You'll get this a lot when it comes to SARS scams, where in this year alone, or when it's due for your returns, you'll get an email saying that a final demand, you need to do this urgently and things like that. Be very vigilant, because these are the things that these guys use to actually make you click, because they know that, oh, I owe SARS, I don't want to owe SARS. And immediately you click on that, not knowing that you've just given your information and things like that, right? Now, one of the other tactics that these guys use will be due to the current situation. And for example, with what happened in the crises, right? Like these big time events, the war, and like the war in Ukraine, each and every war or each and every big event, they would literally send an email, right, saying that if you want to help with the crisis that is happening in Ukraine, click on this link and pay some money. And because you know what's happening, you've seen what's happening, you fall victim that you click on the link and not knowing you've just given your information to them, and now they can use it against you, right? And you'll find that, especially for us here in South Africa, when it comes to the tax, right? Let's say you owe SARS some money, or you don't even owe SARS money, and they'll send you a letter of final demand. And they're saying, if you don't want us to take immediate action with you, or you don't deal with this within the next 2 or 30 days, we will definitely be coming after you and things like that, right? Then because the letter gives some urgency, like that sense of urgency that you need to resolve this immediately, especially for business owners as well. The minute you get a final demand tax, like a tax email from SARS, final demand you're owing, immediately you're going to be shocked that, no, last time I checked, everything is working fine. Everything, all our returns are okay. What's happening? You download this statement, you'll go and look at the statement, not knowing that that attachment has a malicious file at the background, and immediately they have access to your computer or access to your emails, right? And if some of you don't know, there's what we call ChatGPT, right? Many users will use this for their everyday use, making their work easier, whatever they use it for, right? Now, these guys, the same way you would use it to make sure your work is easier, they use the same ChatGPT for their emails to make the emails more believable, right? So most, if not about 51% cybersecurity leaders have actually picked up that ChatGPT can be used as can be abused, basically, to make people believe that this email is actually coming from the actual entity that is sending you the email. And now, with that being said, it means that it's very important for us to take note of the link that you click in, what are you doing, and so forth. Now, this does not only apply to just an individual or a business. It applies to everybody that has access to the internet, right? Now, recently, if not some months ago, Scam Advisor basically shared something on Twitter saying that scammers target job seekers with fake emails, like you appeared in 4 searches this week, right? And you find that the LinkedIn email is not the same. It's not a LinkedIn email. So it will be a random email ID, and that already would be a sign for you to say, no. This is a scam. LinkedIn will pop up, but the email ID will be something different that is happening compared to your actual LinkedIn sending you emails. Now, they take advantage of these of job seekers, because they know that maybe the person is actually in a sense of, I need a job urgently and things like that, So with that being said, it's very important to notice these things. The email that you think is the correct one may actually be a non-correct one, right? Now, a few years ago, I just started at ESET, right? I just started at ESET, and the first call that I got, or the second call that I got, was a client calling that they've just recently sent a 1.2 million rand payout to a particular company. All right. And then I'm like, okay, wait, what's happening? So we actually understood or learned that the client was using ESET, but was not using the product to the best of its ability, right? And never took the time to ask that, make sure that the phishing filter is actually on one of our products, and then make sure that whatever phishing or malicious email come through, it's not actually it's blocked, right? So they didn't know that there are ways to actually stop this and so forth. As a result, that they lost 1.2 million rand. Lack of information can destroy someone. Rather educate someone than just putting things in place. Now, you can put a product in place, but if you don't educate the people, it also becomes a problem, right? Now, for example, moving forward of what these guys do. Remember, we just came from the Rugby World Cup, right? And everybody's happy. Now, what they did is that they focused on our South African supporters, right? Where they would send you an SMS saying that please participate on this actual participate on this winning, or participate on this competition or promotion that you can win 1 million rand and so forth, right? You click on the link not knowing you're giving off your information, right? Sometimes it's not the information of your credit card, but your personal information, the day you were born, and where you stay, your location, your area, right? And your phone number. These are the things that they first look for, and take advantage of that. Now, not only did this happen only now, it doesn't start now. This even happened when we had the FIFA World Cup. 14 FIFA World Cup players were actually sent phishing scams, right? So this doesn't matter where you are, an executive or you're an CEO or whoever you are, but they try to do their best to take advantage of a particular event. Even when we had the World Cup in Tokyo, right? So the Rugby World Cup organizers announced on a particular Friday in Tokyo that they had hit their target of selling 1.8 million tickets, right, during the tournament. And not knowing that there were people that were actually fallen victims of the scam, that people will be selling them tickets, not knowing that all the tickets were actually fake. Now, these are just examples of what people get, right? Now, drilling down to what happens to local businesses that maybe might have fallen victim of this phishing. Our own Discovery Bank, right, had sent an urgent caution over a new cell phone network loyalty program scam that rose in South Africa like never before. So the email would be read like this: your balance of reward points with Vodacom, and they give you the points, will expire today. So it's very important for you to claim the prize. You click on the link not knowing that by doing that, you actually fall victim of your information being leaked, right? Now, this was basically just designed for them to get personal information for financial gain. Now, when Discovery Bank actually said this, already there were people that actually had fallen victim of this, right? And I know as South Africans, it may look like, oh, it's a small thing, it might not happen to me, I'm with a different bank, but being very vigilant is very important. Recently, if not now, as I'm talking to you, there's a scam going on of Capitec, right? Where it says update your actual app, right? We have update our things, and Capitec is not aware of this, right? And it happened that some people fallen trap of this, but some of them were actually like told, Capitec warned the people, look, this we don't know about, please don't click on anything, we are looking at that to deal with it, right? So those are the things that people face on a daily basis. Now, many of us love movies, right? Do you know that most of our, or if not our biggest movie, Stir Kinnicker, where they were actually leaked, right? Where the information or data that was basically on the website was leaked. Up to 7 million South Africans were affected by this. This was in March 2017, where you would go on the website not knowing that all your information is actually leaked. By the end of 2017, the actual breach had affected 1.6 million accounts that were exposed for everyone to see, right? And this starts off by just a simple link being shared, right? Now, why?
Lucas,
Yes.
if I on this topic, can I just interrupt you with one of the questions that has come through that I think is quite interesting? Do
Yes, Leah.
cyber attackers gain access to your info, e.g. PC or cell, by just clicking on the link, or does it depend on you providing info to create the breach?
It depends on you providing the info, creating the breach, right? Now, depending on which device are you using. Let's say you're using your Android phone, right? You click on the link. Technically speaking, there might be a malicious software or script downloaded. So is it on your computer. But some cases, you will click on the link, it will redirect you to a website where it will need information. That is why it's important. Don't even click on any link that you're not aware of, because by doing that, you don't know what's happening on the background. For example, let's say you got the same link on your Windows machine or your laptop, right? And you click on the attachment or the link. Immediately, I have literally seen this happen where you click on the link and it downloads a script. You won't worry about the script. You'll be like, oh, maybe I clicked on the wrong thing. The minute that script is on your computer, it begins to run. And if you don't have an antivirus or procedures put in place, it can result to them monitoring you, meaning that in a company where you have 500 workers, one can actually fall victim by clicking on that, right? And by clicking on that, they begin to monitor your network. They won't attack immediately. They can monitor your network. I hope that answers the question, Leanne. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Sorry for interrupting.
No worries.
I just thought it was the right time to ask it.
Perfect. Now, just to emphasize, right, on the financial and the repercussions or the consequences that these basically, why are they doing this? What do they want, right? Now, the financial consequences for businesses, individuals, it's similar but not the same. Now, what they focus on is loss of funds, right? Now, phishing can lead to theft, like I mentioned earlier, personal information being gained, right? Now, this can also happen for business loss, where a business can lose because of, for example, what do you think happened with the movie, one of the biggest movie theaters? Most likely people began to lose, they lost business, and some people, because of they knew that the information has been shared, there can be legal fees, there can be unauthorized transactions being done, right? They can be fined by businesses or by their co-workers, right? Now, for example, in 2020, just America, right? There was one company that was actually that had a data breach. This company had a data breach, and many of because of the application they use, right? So this application had vulnerabilities and there was a data breach. So it resulted that even the USA government making massive losses because of one particular application used. Now, what do you think happened to that particular company? There were business losses that happened there, right? And sometimes these guys can send a phishing to get your data, but they would wait for to deliver a ransomware to you, right? Where they will do a phishing email, and then once you click on the email, a ransomware script is downloaded, and this potentially, most of the time, you will fall victim to financial harm, right? Because what they do is that they basically encrypt your data and they ask for money. And many times what they do, they send you a notepad saying that if you don't pay so much Bitcoins or cryptocurrency, you will never get access to your information. And that is why it's very important to just have things put in place to protect yourself, right? Now, what kind of losses, reputational losses or consequences do this happen, or does this give for the actual company? I mentioned earlier, legal issues, right? Now, legal actions and penalties can be basically sent, or like can basically tarnish the government's reputation. Loss of trust. If I know that I trusted this business and my information was leaked all over, I'm not going to want to do business again with them. Then eventually, if 50% of the clients feel the same way, that's a loss of trust immediately, of which the brand image of that company is already lost or damaged. Now, these are the things that basically happen. And also, you must remember that the employee morale will basically will suffer, because the minute I know I work for a company that had a data, or the data was at risk, what about my information? Maybe my information is also leaked. I don't know. Now, these are the things, or the consequences, that actually happen to all of these companies, or what they basically face, right? Now,
So, Lucas,
yes,
just to interject there, the interesting thing is that a lot of companies actually also don't expose the situation because of the risk of reputation. So that's also
yes,
a dangerous consequence of these attacks that happen when people don't actually expose that. So
yes.
we must just raise that as well, because I think we hear about the ones that are exposed, but there's lots that goes undercover because of the huge reputational risk.
Correct. And many of the times is that they will maybe make an announcement, but don't tell you um how uh, uh, um how this affected their business in terms of the information, right? They'll say that, okay, we want to announce that we had a data breach, but we protected, or we're still investigating how it affected our business. By that time, you don't know that whether it affected their business massively or not. You don't know how big the threat was. And that's basically what they don't share with people, unfortunately, right? Now, just to discuss another important, or the importance of training your employees, or making them aware. If you think about it, right, before I do that, I say that, if you think about it, South Africa is so, like, in terms of technology, I'm not going to say we're backward, but we are a third world country, right? Now, that means technology is more advanced in other places, right? Now, does this mean, food of thought, does this mean that we are a first place to be attacked? Or does it mean that we actually need to educate people more of what is happening, or make them aware of the importance of cybersecurity? Many people don't focus on cybersecurity. Neither do employees or employers focus on these things, because as long as my computers are protected, I don't need to give training to my employees, which is, it's a total opposite. Many times, 90% of the data breaches, it's not a protection of your network, it's a human error. Human error resulting you but the person not being educated enough to have this. For example, do you know that in the last 8 years, right, that they approximately, let me say from 2015, 30% of all phishing messages were opened. And 12% of the receivers who opened them also clicked on the malicious link or attachment. And 48% since 2016, phishing attacks were designed to steal money. Now, this was a few years ago. What do you think is the outcomes now? Now, many of this, like for example, in 2016, 8.31% were basically using fraudulent banking credentials to obtain sensitive information, where they will do phishing, where they contact you and they're saying, you need to update your information or what's or not, and things like that. Now, this is the reason why making or training people, it's very important, right? Now, I'm just going to share 5 simple ways, right, that you can protect yourself, but or you can actually try and find a way to defend yourself against phishing. Number 1 is being cautious online. Rather be avoid something than just to prevent it, right? Preventing it is not enough. avoiding it, making sure that you are educated will help you so much than trying to have another solution of doing this, right? Now, of protecting yourself. Now, another thing is that cyber criminals don't just focus on businesses. They focus even on your Facebook, your Twitter, Instagram, and all these things. Now, for example, a few months or one of the interviews I had with SABC was that the WhatsApp scams that are happening, right, of which they use the same tactic, which is phishing. They use the same information or the same way they would use on an email, to an extent that one of the highly esteemed former public protector, Tulima Donsela, was affected by this. You see, now it doesn't matter who you are, where you are, it's very important to be cautious when you are busy online, on your WhatsApp, on Facebook, or whatever. Whenever you're buying things online, be very cautious, right? Now, number two, be aware of shortened links. A potential trap is being put for you. Now, exercise this. Whenever you have a link, hover over the link to see, is this the correct link? Whether you go on your F&B, make sure when you pop there, when you just hover over the link, is it a true link, right? Now, even with your emails, whether you get an email from your boss, CEO, your colleague, hover over it. Make sure that this email is a legitimate email, right? Review suspicious emails, right? Now, to identify phishing red flags, it's very important to look at the typo, right? Now, there's always a sense of urgency or emergency when it comes to phishing. There's always for example, they won't send an email directly using your name most of the time. They'll send an email saying that, hi there, or good evening, sir, and then they'll explain whatever they want to explain. But all of this is another red flag that you need to look out and be cautious of, right? Now, what also happens is that be mindful of the typos, the capital letters, exclamation marks. Be mindful of those things, right? Now, number four, be wary of the threats and urgent deadlines. Be wary of especially the urgent deadlines. Be very skeptical. If it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true. And very important, when I was speaking about websites, make sure that the website you're using is a what? A protected website, right? Now, these are just ways that you can try and train your employees to understand and to be cautious about, and that will actually help you in the long run. You can have the best protection in your environment, but if someone does not know how to use that or how to protect themselves, then most likely they will fall prey of phishing attempts, right? Now, as we have mentioned already, that educating yourself is very important, but also utilizing basically an email filtering tool, like we have when it comes to Microsoft 365, right? They know this one thing, that they do need a third party vendor to help them protect their users. For example, if I send you a phishing photo, right? A phishing, like I send you a photo via my OneDrive to your OneDrive, and I send you this photo and it's a phishing attempt or whatever, it's a breach that I'm trying to do, or trying to phish you to click on the actual photo and open it, and you are not protected. Microsoft actually, technically speaking, does not protect you for that. Now, we have what we call in our sense, as he said, cloud app protection, right? This is what we call ESED, cloud office security, which is, it protects you from any phishing, whether from OneDrive, your emails, and so forth. In a lot of emails that it can protect you from, right? Now, you can also put this in place. If you have systems in place in your company or in your environment that you need to log in, it's very important to use what we call multi-factor authentication. This is a highly recommended use for this because it helps you in verifying that the person typing the password is actually the person typing the password. It helps you basically temporarily sending your code to your device, and then helps you to make sure that you log in. Now, this enhances your security very much, right? And very important, last but not least, is making sure that your softwares are up to date. If you are here and you're still using Windows 7, Windows 8.1, please move over to Windows 10 and make sure that your Windows 10 is on the latest update, because by 2025 already, Windows 10 will be outdated and everyone has to move to Windows 11. So make sure that your applications, your operating system is up to date and is protected with all known vulnerabilities, because you can have your service, you can have an application or your software put in place to protect you, but if you don't have, or your applications do have vulnerabilities, then you are in trouble, because vulnerabilities people can use them to access, to make it a gateway or have a backdoor to your environment. And last but not least, have a reporting and responsive process put in place, which will help you basically to know that if this happens, what do we do, right? And randomly help your employees, basically send them phishing emails randomly to see that do they know what phishing emails are, and this can help your IT identify what's basically happening in their environment. With that said, thank you so much. If there is any questions, we can hear them. Thank you very much, Leanne.
Thank you very much for that very informative, educational, scary information you've shared with us. So yeah, we tackled the question that we got as we went along, so that was good. And then there was this is more of a comment from Billy Kemp. Sometimes emails sending banking confirmation letters as attachments are intercepted, particularly to Gmail addresses, and bank account numbers on the confirmation letters are changed. So that's an area that we see a lot of in our space, because we look after the conveyancing industry with a lot of our products, and that definitely is a rise and has been going on for years. And you honestly think that people have got more educated to that. So I agree with you in terms of training everybody. It's important to have our staff trained and aware of this, and creating this awareness through webinars such as this is critical. Because, you know, I was sitting in the lounge the one day, and my daughter, who was about to go and study computer science, so she's not technically challenged, I heard her answer the phone and start reading off an OTP. So you know, and if that was my mother or my grandmother, they wouldn't have thought twice about doing that. So we're also too trusting a nation when older people, you know, the youth, when older people phone them, they just believe that they've got to follow the process. But yeah, so creating awareness is so very important in terms of that. Just an interesting thing I picked up in your chat is how ChatGPT, you know, because one of the things that you raised in your point 3 was the bad grammar or the capital letters going funny. And now with ChatGPT, they've even got that right. So can't use so that is more of a challenge.
Leanne, related to that, there is similar question that we have. The question is, how do you really know a website is really secure? I think I know the basics, but I may not have all the information.
Okay, so how do you know it's secure? if you open your website right now, right, open any website, you will see that on the actual bar where the website address is, there's a lock, right? Many of our websites, secure websites, have a lock. Now, if you click on the lock, you'll be able, it will give you more information of how secure the actual website is. Now, sometimes is that when you click on a website, or you open a website, sometimes your own browser can tell you that this website is not secure. All right. Now, with that being said, is that make sure, if you don't have an antivirus put in place, I'm more than welcome to, you can contact me at ESET, look for Lucas, and I can assist you to make sure that you are protected, because one of the products that we have, or all our products, when you click on a website, it can maybe say secure, but it can have a JavaScript injection, where that injection is basically a script where it is downloaded to your machine, and you can actually fall prey of them monitoring you and getting your information that way. So essentially, there's two ways to protect yourself. Make sure the secured link has a lock, and number two, have a proper antivirus put in place. And then you'll know that at least you don't have to worry for that, because I think with our home users, or even our business products, we have what we call payment and protection payment and protection feature, where they, when you go to any website, especially when it comes to banking, it has a green grid over your website, and that is a sign that you are actually protected.
Okay, next we've got a comment with a question. A typical phishing method is to send mails from what appears to come from inside your own organization. This email is from your actual business domain. How are cybercriminals able to do that? Even if you go into inspect the mail, you don't find the actual information from whence the email came.
So to answer that, right, Magda, is that for you as a user, let's say they got my email. My email is lucas at link.com, right? Now, that means either my service provider had a data breach, and maybe they don't know about it, which then they can get all the domains from that. Or what they do is that, because it's a targeted attack, right? They get my my domain, but within the domain, you'll find that there's a missing letter, all right? Instead of the I being an I, it is an I with a, like a, what do you call it? What is it? The word just gone now, but it's an I with just not an I, but the tick of an I, where it's maybe an L with a different character, right? So that's how they would actually use that to actually, you think that it's from your domain, but it's not, because it was not really from your domain. It's just that they created another domain that is identical to yours, but it's actually not your actual domain. I hope I answered that question.
Thank you.
Okay.
So I think we're going to just hold questions for a minute. I want to quickly take you through our Lexis Secure tool, which is one of the tools that LexisNexis offers to enable you to have more secure communication. So one of the things that has become quite evident in what Lucas has shared with us is that email is almost the root of all or phishing. So you'll see that a poll will be coming up shortly as well. If you can just answer this poll, if you'd be interested in a consultant chatting to you more about our Lexis Secure. But I'm going to just quickly share my screen and take you through a very brief presentation to highlight what our product can do. Can you see my screen, Magda? Okay, good. So I'm just, all right. So we have developed a solution called LexisSecure. If I could get it to move to the next slide, that would help. Oops, okay, moving now. So what is LexisSecure? It is an online solution which allows for secure transaction-based communication and document exchange between an organization and their clients and other stakeholders. LexisSecure provides a trusted alternative to email as a correspondence tool. All messages, documents are encrypted. Correspondence is linked to a transaction and is accessible to all relevant parties with the correct access. This access is granted with a multi-factor authentication. So we also have built in an OTP for you to link to your outside communication stakeholders. The automated progress reporting tool allows you to send scheduled reports and to selected stakeholders. They can also view progress in real time by logging onto the LexisSecure website. Reports, notifications, and LexisSecure website are all fully branded according to the organization's logo. We have a very flexible setup, allowing your organization to manage all different types of transactions and contact roles specific to their business, making the solution robust enough to be implemented across all industries. So basically what LexisSecure can do is it replaces your communication via email, because email has become quite an abused area of our business. So we developed a specific solution based on security to be able to communicate based on various matters in your organization. This is just a quick view of what this looks like. So on the right-hand side here, you will see these are all the different transactions. So any transaction can have a number of contacts linked to that transaction. So for argument's sake, if this was in a law firm and this was a litigation matter, you could have a sheriff and the plaintiff and the defendant. And then you can also have a group of people. So sometimes you want to have one-on-one communication, point-to-point communication securely, or there's a group of people that you need to interact with. So we have those different options. And then in the middle, you can see the communication. It's very similar to the look and feel of WhatsApp. And on the right hand, on the other side, we've got all the documents that are linked. So basically, all the documents that you have shared or have been shared with you. So that's another area of concern, as somebody raised earlier, is attached documents being intercepted. So that is why we actually introduced this product in the conveyancing industry to mitigate that risk of intercepted emails. So documents can now be shared in a secure environment, but this is not just for a conveyancing practice. This can be adapted to any solution that we have. The secure documents are uploaded via the chat messages and are linked to the transaction. Any logged in user can view all messages that have been sent to them or by them, but they can't see what somebody else has sent. So it's all linked to what you have. If you've uploaded something, you can access it. But you won't be able to access something that somebody else has uploaded. Documents uploaded by a group chat are visible to all the participants. So if it is in a group, then you can see that. Documents are grouped by contact in the documents panel, and contacts can rename or delete the documents that they have sent. All documents can be downloaded by any contact with the relevant access. Then we've also got branding. So this tool can be implemented and you can add your own branding, your own colors, etc. So when your clients log onto this platform with their OTP, they will be able to see your branding. So it's almost like logging onto a website, your own personal website. And then just to highlight, this is the mobile view. So here we have the different transactions that we're showing. Here is the contacts that you would link to. This is the chat that you would be having, and those are the documents. The next view highlights an additional functionality that we've got with this. So if you've got different milestone processes and different transactions could have different steps that go through the different motions. So if you're an accountant and you got tax files, you could have a milestone process to manage that. So if your customer wants to log in and see where they are in terms of the progress of their matter. Okay, so that is just to highlight that particular milestone process. It's the same picture there. And yeah, that's just a very, very brief overview of what Lexis Secure is, the product that we have developed to enable secure communication with you and your customers. So if you'd like any more information on that, the poll was up. So yeah, we'd love to get in contact with you and have a chat. I see that there are some more questions. I just wanted to jump in there quickly before we ran out of time. Magda, can you jump back to the questions then?
Sure, no problem. The next question is, are there any determinable cycles of cyber attacks? Do they increase pre-festive season, for example? A couple of years ago, one company in the UK noted that attacks against law firms happened on a Thursday or just before a long weekend.
Now, to answer that question is that the reason why, for example, they would happen on a week, like on a Thursday, is that they know you might take time to actually get or find out, right? And not only that, on the long weekend, they know that many of the times law firms don't work overtime, or the IT geeks don't work overtime, or the IT specialists. So they will only pick up on Monday that there was actually a data breach that happened. So yes, for example, in the festive season, everything like cybersecurity or cyber attackers, what they do is that they focus on big events. They know right now that everyone wants to buy, right? And we got so used to buying things online because of COVID. So they know that things are going to increase more now in sending the spam or the phishing emails and things like that. And some will offer you money because they want to make money out of you in this festive season.
Okay, great. I want to add to that, especially with Black Friday coming up. There's a lot of spam that's going to go around, so just be wary of that. Okay, next question is, how does it help to hover over the link?
So hovering over the link will basically show you where it actually comes from directly. So it won't show, if it's from LinkedIn, it will have a no reply from LinkedIn, right? So it will show you the ID originates from LinkedIn. But if it's not from LinkedIn, it will show something totally opposite to what you guys, like to what LinkedIn gave you, or any of that organization or whatever organization sent you the email.
Yeah, so within the email as well, sorry, Lucas, I want to add in again. Within the email, if you get something that says, please click here to make the payment, you can hover over that link. Sometimes, say the email came from Standard Bank, the link might say abc.com/Standard Bank, which then tells you that it's not actually a Standard Bank link as well. So it's not just the sender that you check, but also the links within your mail. Okay, next one is, I note the solution that all banks allow you to verify all persons' account before you mark an internet payment.
So I've seen that a lot happening, a lot with Capitec, even F&B. The reason for that is to try and help people avoid them sending money to wrong people. For example, F&B, you can verify if the person you're sending the money to is a legitimate company or business, and then that's how they basically help you from basically being protected, I would say. So, but if you don't know, or you're like, okay, no, I trust this person, and you fall victim of sending the money, that's how they'll also get you, saying that, but you verified that this person is a like what the information they send you is true, or is a legitimate bank or business, or whatever the case may be. So be vigilant when you whenever you send money to anybody, make sure and triple check that that person is a legitimate business or an organization or individual.
Okay, great. Thanks, Lucas. Next one. Is there any way to check whether your data has been breached despite having security in place?
No. So there isn't a way to know unless there's a security things put in place. As far as I am aware, there isn't a way. So you find out that if you have something in place, then it will tell you that you've been hacked or whatever the case may be, or there has been a data breach.
Okay. Sorry, let me just finish that. The next item is thank you for that. So I think this relates back to the question we originally had with the domain name. So it says, thank you for that, but these are mails that have absolutely no differences to the domain name. It is identical. We've looked into it extensively and found that our domain has been copied right down to our logo with the exact same domain. Thank you anyway for the informative detail from Lucas and Sandra, yeah. Anything you want to add, Lucas?
With that, I would say that find out also from your domain if how it happened to that, because there is that one for me will need proper investigations, and also very importantly put something in place to protect your domain or protect your emails. That is very important because of the sophisticated ways that these guys have, you also need to have a sophisticated solution put in place, all right, for that, especially if you're a business. It's very important. So yeah.
Okay, I was going to skip to this question. This is from an anonymous user. It is Lucas Molefe single? He is quite a good-looking guy.
I'm not going to answer that, but I'm getting married on the 1st of December. So yeah.
Oh,
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Right, so I think it's time to wrap up. We're 2 minutes over 2 o'clock.
We've got three questions left, Leanne, if you would like to finish them quickly.
Okay, let's jump to them quickly for those that are still on. There's still quite a few participants, so yeah, let's carry on.
It says, thank you for the informative session. Please excuse me. So this is more a comment for leaving early. I have to log into another meeting, so I'm just marking that as done. Next one is, how well would you rate Microsoft Defender as an antivirus? Is it a viable alternative?
Okay. Because of this is a very big platform, so I'm not going to say much, but if you can put the battle cards, if you search Microsoft ESET battle cards, you'll see actually that ESET is quite good. ESET is the best. Thank you very much.
Okay, great. And then we have one question here. I'm not sure if we will be able to answer this question. It's just, how do you claim back your money after buying online but not receiving your product at all?
Go to the bank. The bank can most likely help you.
Yeah, so I had an incident where I booked accommodation. My accommodation got cancelled and they closed it down. I had to go to the bank. They had to revert my payment. So it was a very big, long thing where you had to fill out a form and everything. So that is all the questions. Thank you, Leanne.
Thank you very much, everybody. And thank you, Lucas and Magda, for your help on the side. And yeah, I'm glad I hope we brought about just a lot more awareness. I think it's so important to just keep creating awareness of what is going on out there and making people cautious as to how they manage their emails and their social media and online time. So thank you very much. And yeah, look forward to our next webinar. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Cheers, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.